Hey everybody, welcome back to another chapter of Old Man Brad. Whether you are new to the show or returning for another chapter, thank you so much for giving me a listen. And if you love the show, drop me a review over on your favorite podcast app or become a patron over at patreon.com/oldmanbrad. So we're in week 2 of the Holiday of Horrors. Last week, my wife came on and we talked Black Friday. This week, we are going to talk an absolutely terrible movie that I just love to watch every year. And I brought in another guest. I have Dan from Stacking Triggers, and we're going to talk Nutcracker Massacre.
Yeah.
How you doing, Dan?
I'm good. How are you, Brad?
I'm not too bad. I'm excited to talk about this movie.
We very much bonded over this movie. You hosted a watch party of it, I think last year, maybe 2 years ago.
I did.
And then we just made fun of it the whole time because it's horrific. But like we bonded over it, and it's like, my God, this movie's amazingly terrible. I love it so much.
It is. It's like, it's so bad. I'm going to watch this every year around the holidays now.
Yeah.
Because why not?
Yeah, exactly.
It brings me joy. It makes me happy. Let's have fun. And I think this is where our love of May Kelly kind of really started to peak too.
It's true. I'm not as like into it as like you are, but like, hey, she can do that. Like she is like the female Eric Roberts. She's like a young female Eric Roberts right now. Like if you went to her IMDb page like sometime last year, she has some like 30 to 40 projects in the works at that time.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you talking about? How do you have this time?
And now this year she has, I think, 2.
Yeah. I remember her saying on Twitter that she was going to take a break.
Yeah.
I don't know if that means she's taking a break forever or what's going on, but
I don't know. Maybe someday I can get her on the show. We'll see.
Yeah.
She says she doesn't really do interviews, so maybe I can figger it out.
Just get her on to talk about one of her movies. If you get her to like review one of her movies, I'm sure that skirts the line just enough.
And projects she has coming up.
Yeah.
Everybody loves to talk about their projects, right? But we're gonna talk Nutcracker Massacre. But before we do, I just want to say anyone in the Cincinnati area, come out to Frightful Fridays on the 3rd Friday of the month. I host a horror screening at the Esquire Theater, and our screening for December is Don't Open Till Christmas from 1984. It is a schlocky grindhouse slasher, but kind of fun. Kind of like this almost. But come out December 20th, 10 p.m., and let's watch a movie together. All right, let's talk Nutcracker Massacre.
Auntie Marie, hi, how are you?
I insist that you come spend the holiday with me. It's been too long.
I am so glad you could come. Wow, it's hideous.
Ah, the Nutcracker.
I had that put up once I found out you were coming.
It's, creepy.
You scared me?
What's going on?
James is missing.
That's not all. The Nutcracker is missing.
There's something weird about that Nutcracker.
What?
I don't know. I'm gonna find out. I need some information from you about the Nutcracker.
So you think a nutcracker possessed by a German soldier from the 1800s came to life and killed James?
Yes.
Follow a novelist who visits her family for Christmas and finds a mysterious Nutcracker doll, which soon becomes possessed and wreaks havoc. This is written by Joe Netter and Jeff Miller and directed by Becca Hirani. Stars May Kelly, Patrick Bergen, Beatrice Fletcher, Julie Stevens, Andy Dixon, and many others. And this came out in 2022. I don't think it had much of a budget.
No. Like I said, this has a lot of my favorite like schlocky horror movie little bits where it's like, hey, I inherited this house. Let's shoot a movie there.
Yes.
And that's what this movie feels like, is like, oh, there's a small town that I inherited a house by, and now we have a location to shoot movies where it's a house we kind of don't give a shit about, but also it's relatively nice looking.
We'll shoot all the stuff at it, just at different angles, so maybe you won't notice.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we'll
never show you the kitchen, because if we show you the kitchen, then you're going to realize that the kitchen in the apartment at the beginning of the movie is actually in the house of where the rest of the movie takes place.
Speaking of the beginning of the movie, I think this is the part, well, not really the beginning. It was a little bit after this. But we start out with a delivery guy in the middle of the night just randomly delivering a package.
Yeah.
And he goes around, they leave him a note to go around back, and then he becomes this weird stalker where he's like looking at this lady through the window to leave it.
I don't get this. Because, like, all you had to do for this sequence is, like, have him try to, like, get her attention. If you, like, have him waving his arms, like, hey, I got a package, like, something like that, it looks less weird. Instead, he's like, I did you a favor coming out here late at night. I put myself out to do this thing. And it's like, bro, you also, like, peered into their windows as if you were a home invader. Like, what are you doing?
Well, and then he comes back around and there's a giant nutcracker standing in the doorway. What I love about anytime you get the nutcracker is the breathing. It's like we're watching Student Bodies from 1982 where it's like
yeah.
Why? If this is in a giant nutcracker, why does it need to be breathing heavily?
Exactly. Like, why is it breathing? Like, you could go into that where it's like, okay, let's pretend, because, like, lore-wise, it's just, like, inhabited by the spirit of this like, fucking dead Russian soldier.
Yeah, and they swallowed a gem.
Yeah, and, like, murdered someone very brutally. Like, if you just had it be like, hey, that nutcracker, that giant fucking nutcracker, it's actually just his body. And his spirit is re-inhabiting it. I'd have been like, that's great. I don't give a shit. I don't care if that doesn't make sense. That's great.
The backstory on it, I think, is like 10 minutes long. They go through this whole thing of this soldier and this woman, and he forces her to eat this jewel, and then she's okay. But then I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, what are we talking about?
Why do we need this? Just go kill some people.
Like, just be like, yeah, it's a guy who went fucking crazy in a nutcracker looking outfit.
Yeah. Easy enough. But the nutcracker kills this man. But he'll come back. Don't worry. He'll come back.
He'll come back because this movie does my least favorite thing I actually think in movies at all is like, hey, the events at the beginning of the movie actually happen somewhere in the middle of the movie. And really, it's not even the middle. It's like 20 minutes later.
And it doesn't tell you that beginning scene was supposed to be this. I remember when we first watched it, you're like, wait, didn't we already kill this guy? And I was like, yeah, I think we did.
We 100% killed this guy. I'm like, why the fuck is this guy back? Is he immortal? Like, what's going on? Is he Groundhog Daying into getting Nutcracker massacred?
It's that budget. They're like, crap, we need a little padding. Just cut part of this scene, put it at the beginning, and we'll use it here too.
Yeah, and I guess it's because, like, you can't have the Nutcracker already being a murder machine. Even though, boy, you sure could have the Nutcracker being a murder machine by just, like, taking the Nutcracker from, like, the life-size Nutcracker from that guy's shop and just being like, here it is for, like, $100. And you're like, wow, what a deal. And, like, it just turns out, like, the Nutcracker has already been running around, like, murdering people. And, like, it's because the guy's been testing it and making sure, like, okay, like, what the magic I'm using is working.
But they made it seem like it was in this family for a while, the giant Nutcracker. And when mom was like, oh yeah, I brought it out, and her daughters that are visiting are like, I've never seen this.
I've never seen this before in my life.
What is this?
Also, the thing is, and this is where, like, Meg Kelly's character, she has enough development. It's just like, it's not there for the rest of it, is that she's the actual daughter of that woman, and our main character, who I can't remember her name is, is the niece. So, like, apparently the treatment of the niece has been like she's a daughter, and sometimes over May Kelly. So that's why she's such a bitch to her the entire movie. It on my first watch, I was like, she's just a fucking bitch. She just hates this woman. Why?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, that's why. It's not really fleshed out, but, like, okay, that's a reason.
She has some reason, but yeah, when we first get her, May Kelly, she just comes in all bitchy, bossing people around. The older guy, like, I guess he's like their butler or something of that sort.
The house is a bed and breakfast, I think, and he works at the bed and breakfast, even though it's like a 2-bedroom bed and breakfast. Like, do you need that much help for 2 bedrooms?
Like, that's the thing with this movie. It never sets things like this beginning piece. We had no idea that it was going to be set later. It just happens. You get the delivery guy again. You get more of his death. You get to see his actual death instead of just part of it. And you're just like, wait a second, huh? What?
Yeah. If it's a later thing, like if it was more than 20 minutes, like if we're talking like, 45 minutes into the movie, the delivery guy shows up and he gets murdered. Okay, fine. But like, you have me thinking like, did Brad hit something on the live stream? Like, did he accidentally start us over? Like, what's going on?
I thought that for a second, yes, because I was like, wait, we've seen this. I remember the icicle, like,
which also is my second favorite thing in low budget horror movies is when they go for the kill on somebody, but they don't have any special effects budget. So it's just a camera cut to whatever the murder weapon is already murdering them.
Yeah.
Like it does it with this guy. It does it with the woman a bit later in the movie. But yeah, he just shoves an icicle in his underjaw and it's just there. It just cuts to being there.
You see him move towards him and then it just cuts to like, oh, he's already holding it. There's blood all over the guy's face and neck.
Yeah, and then he dies. And then Nutcracker Massacre. And then we begin the movie.
Yes. Enter May Kelly. Oh, I forgot that the Nutcracker, when he kills, he puts on his angry face.
Oh my God, the angry face is so good. It's so good. It's so bad, but it's so good. Like,
so bad.
Somebody worked really fucking hard on that face.
And that's the face you see on the poster.
For like probably about 3 days, somebody probably worked on that. And they're like, I'm really proud of this. This is amazing.
Look at these teeth.
And then the director shows up and the director's like, hey, cool. Hey, how many masks did you get done? And you're like, huh? What do you mean, how many? I just worked on this one. This is all you wanted was one, right? No, I wanted like 3 or 4. What do you talk? We got to shoot this tomorrow. I go, what do you mean? What do you mean you've only done one mask? And so they had to use that mask for everything.
They're like, well, I guess we're quick cutting from the regular mask to he's angry. Now he's going to kill.
It's so bad, but it's so good.
So many like random, I think it's shortly after this, after May Kelly shows up, the boyfriend who the other girl is kind of having relationship struggles with. And then there's this random girl there, the Asian girl, that's like, did we not mean anything? And he's like, I'm blocking you. And just like his girlfriend, she already blocked me. And I'm like, what is this? This is so random.
So 2 things with that. 1, she slept. So that is the one friend at the beginning of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it turns out he cheated on the girlfriend with the friend.
Yes.
And we're like, okay, that's kind of weird, but okay.
But the way it was thrown in there, almost like the room's like, and I have the cancer.
Yeah. Exactly. But the second thing, there's a text message where the main character types in, I want to know who it was. So if she doesn't know who it was, why would she have blocked the friend?
Good point.
What happened?
And why would they hang out?
Right. Like, why would you be around this person if you
block them?
If you block them and if they had an affair with your boyfriend, like, what are you talking about? What are we doing here?
It was just a random weird interaction with them outside the house. And all I could think of, like, I was like, isn't it supposed to be winter and cold? Because the one guy died with an icicle, and she's just walking around with no jacket, just a tank top.
Yeah.
Just like trots along, and then Nutcracker gets an ice skate and goes after her.
It also does the quick cut thing where it's just like him murdering her, quick cut to like him murdering her. I think he slices her throat open, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. But also a cool quick cut, bro. Why are they both outside the aunt's house? The girlfriend had to travel from the city to this countryside town.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me both of them traveled from the city to this countryside town in order to have this conversation.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm at a loss for words for that one.
we just have to, like, the thing is we have to kill the bad person. And by the bad person, and I'm going to use a derogatory term here. Don't use this at home, kids. We have to kill the slut because, she's the slut and deserves to die.
She was breaking up the home, so Nutcracker puts on the angry face, grabs an ice skate, and cuts her open in a quick cut. You just see him swipe.
Quick
and then
cut.
It cuts to her like bleeding.
Quick cut already has her entire throat slash, and they have the prosthetic of the throat slash, and she's bleeding, and then she just dies.
And I love the cut after that where it just shows the ice skate just spinning around as he's holding it, I guess.
I don't think it did like a fade into like an ice skate ornament, but like if you would have done something like that would have been like, okay, yeah. It's not great, but like you're going for something, like you're trying things. Like I appreciate that kind of thing, but like it didn't do that. It just cut immediately away from that to like a scene.
Well, I think that's because all the budget went to the next kill that we eventually get. May Kelly's boyfriend. It's late night. He's coming to, he needs a little snack because he couldn't get some from her. So he's got to go get a snack. And this is where the real Nutcracker happens in the movie.
I forgot about this for a minute. Oh my God.
It's like full close up of like, it's got testicles and the cracker on it. And it's like slowly just ripping them off.
So with that, like the Nutcracker uses an actual like hand set of nutcrackers to like pull his testicles off. But here's the thing. He still has his underwear on. So how is it like, did he just like flop his dick out, nutsack and all, and then was just like walking around the house like that? Because like, how is the underwear still on and his nutsack is getting ripped off? It doesn't make sense. The logistics say this isn't
especially
right.
as low as it's hanging as it's ripping it off. I'm like, I don't even know if this is possible.
It's like it looks like 70-year-old man nuts. Like
but
that's how
I
low
feel
they
like
were.
that's where everything went because that's the longest kill that we really like, and we really focus in on it for like a good.
Oh yeah, you get a good amount of nut.
really focus in on it before he dies.
No shafts, which is disappointing, but a lot of nut.
Oh the first time I saw that, I was like, oh, we get an actual Nutcracker. in the movie.
I was like, okay. I mean, if this is the whole point of the movie is to get like a Nutcracker murderer with a Nutcracker ripping off some nuts,
and we got it.
Sure, then like your movie deserves to exist.
And not too long after, that's when we gotta after that big kill, a little after that, we gotta pull back and do a little backstory of here's how the Nutcracker came to be with the jewels and the killing of the people and everything else before we
just so convoluted. I don't understand this. Like it feels like this is where all the writing went into.
That was probably the treatment. Hey, we have this idea for a movie. Here it is, and then we'll fill in some other things.
Yeah, some person giving notes because it wasn't a studio exec because like Quiver Productions was like the lead production house on this, and I don't think they have a studio exec. I think they have some guy named Bob who eats trash out of a dumpster.
If you've seen a lot of Quiver distributed movies, they're not top of the line.
Bob in the dumpster's like, yeah, but how does the Nutcracker come back to life? Like what? How do you do that? They're like, here, Jewel. How does Jewel sound there, Bob? I mean, that sounds great. I'm gonna go back to eating this garbage.
I love any time that you see the Nutcracker, like when it's standing next to the Christmas tree. It's almost as tall as the tree, but you can tell it's just the dude standing there because he's kind of swaying a little bit.
Yeah, it sways, and it's like, and I think they try to sway the camera too, so that way it doesn't look like a dude is in, because like they clearly could not afford to buy an actual Nutcracker or to make a Nutcracker of that size or just like some kind of like statue thing
for the stand-in.
Yeah,
it's because they spent all the money on the Nutcracker scene and the angry face.
Yeah, because like they're not like renting out this house. Although I will say, boy, they didn't do a damn thing to this house. Nobody went through a wall, nothing like that. It's just like very clean, like the house very uninjured. So it is possible they just rented an Airbnb for like
it's a big
week.
Christmas holiday. Even the decorations were very light. There's a few lights outside. You got a tree, a few other things. But when we kill May Kelly, all of a sudden he pulls out Garland to wrap around her head and choke her. Which this is probably my favorite scene. I'm bummed that May Kelly dies.
Oh yes,
But the scene is hilarious because he's holding her inside of a closet to keep her quiet while they're looking for her. And then he wraps Garland around her, chokes her, and then when she dies, the lights come on.
So you're missing the most important part. May Kelly's boyfriend dies and goes missing. And she's like, I don't give a shit about this. I don't give a shit about that man at all.
I'm going to come on to the other guy.
The new boyfriend, the boyfriend from the main character.
The cheating boyfriend.
Cheating boyfriend is like, hey, I'm here because I got invited. And May Kelly's like, cool, I want to try to fuck you now because that's going to make the main character mad. And that's all. My entire purpose in this movie is to make the main character mad.
Yeah. I don't like her, so I just want to piss her off.
She tries to seduce him. And he's like, no, I won't have sex with you, May Kelly, because that's his delivery.
Yeah.
No, I won't have sex with you, May Kelly. I'm not doing that. You're such a bitch to main character. How could you do that?
And as in any film, she walks in on it.
Yeah, she walks in on it because May Kelly decides, I'm just going to I hear the main character coming, so I'm just going to mount him.
Yes.
And that's going to solve all my problems. So he runs out after the main character to try to explain. And it's at this point where the Nutcracker comes out of ethereal space and tries to smother May Kelly with a pillow.
And I forgot about that because he puts the pillow on her and you can clearly see her head turn sideways so she can breathe.
She 100% can breathe.
As they're filming the scene. And he's like holding it over her.
Okay, so potential husband abuse kind of sounding thing.
Mm-hmm.
My wife and I saw that in something. And we just both went, there's no way this is real, right? There's like no way this. So like I took a regular bed pillow and my wife laid down and I just like mashed this thing over her face. Like as hard as I could, tried to like smother. It doesn't do fucking shit.
For science.
Yeah. Like it was like, hey, obviously like tap me if you're actually fucking dying. But like 30 seconds in, she's just kind of like, I'm fine. Like I think the pillow thing only works if somebody's on like a ventilator and therefore already has trouble breathing.
Or it just only works in the movie.
And just works in the movie. So like
obviously it didn't kill her because he's holding her in the closet.
Well, also because her head's turned to the side and like this is how she is, so it's like perfectly fine.
What I love is that the two come back in the room and they're like, "Oh my God, she's gone. Where did she go?" Do they think to check the closet? No. Why would we check the closet? Let's go back out. We gotta find her.
She got around us somehow.
Yes. She got around us. I think that's what one character said.
Talking about? This isn't Benny Hill. Like she's not going to pop in one door and out another one. Like, what are you talking about?
Wow, she's like a magician.
Oh, the ethereal space and time the Nutcracker can move in and out of. She must have found a way in. Let's see if we can find it too.
That's why people who are listening. That's why this movie is amazing. It's terrible. It's so fun to make fun of, but
it makes enjoyable. No logical sense.
None.
It's so good.
None at all. You just get to these kills and you just laugh at them. And you're like, okay, let's move on.
Yeah, this is great.
Although by the end, I kind of check out a little bit.
Yeah, I think the ending really sucks.
Yeah.
Like a lot. Like
the sound design in the ending is terrible. The gun shot, it sounds like a cap gun.
The resolution is awful too.
Yeah.
I don't want her to get back with her boyfriend. Like even though they went through this traumatic experience together where they saw exactly 0 people killed in front of them.
She's running from the Nutcracker. I love when she runs into the bathroom. She crawls into the bathtub and grabs the shower head and she's like holding it. I'm like, what is this going to do for you?
Maybe if I hit it with water, it'll melt.
Maybe.
I saw this in a movie once.
It's just boyfriend who finds her. It's okay.
Yeah, it's boyfriend who finds her. And then because they can't afford stunt doubles, the Nutcracker's already been like chasing the boyfriend around. And so she runs in the bathroom and hides in the tub because that's going to do something.
Yeah.
The boyfriend eventually comes in.
The 6 foot plus Nutcracker, if it walks in the bathroom, definitely is not going to see you laying in that bathtub.
Not in the tub, logically. Like she's
it's a shallow one of those like curvy tubs too, so it's not like you can really sink down.
Tub. It's not even like one you'd see at like an old person's house where it's like the walk-in tub.
No,
like have you seen those where like they fix the shower so that way like there's a door on
Yes.
it and you don't have to step up in. So like you're going to be getting that soon. So like you have to just open the door and just walk in, and then it just reseals itself and becomes an actual tub. It's not even one of those. It's just like a tub, like a standalone tub that you've seen in the music videos that the woman sexually gets in and just starts like flipping around and doing shit. And then eventually she submerges herself and oh my God, she's in the ocean. Is this specific?
But
this
that's
is very specific.
But that didn't happen here.
It didn't happen here.
And then is it their aunt? Their aunt, she's been gone for a while in this whole situation. I know she was there with the backstory.
Yep.
But then the whole when May Kelly tries to seduce boyfriend and dies, and then they're running, aunt just disappears for a while.
I think she just gets captured for some reason.
And
why
then,
captured instead of murdered? I couldn't tell
no,
you.
she got knocked out because she comes to because he's dragging her out. Because isn't he going to possess her body? Like is it the plum fairy that has the other crystal?
Oh, yeah, that's right. The sugar plum fairy.
Yes.
Yeah, like she's the sugar plum fairy to his Nutcracker or something.
Yes. He's going to have her possessed with that so that way they can be together. Because right now the fairy is just a small little statue that's sitting somewhere.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense there. Okay.
Forgot about that.
I'm buying this now.
Because there's even a line at the beginning where she even makes a comment of like, the Nutcracker is here to protect her.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm with this. I agree with this now.
And then there's a fight and a shootout, and Nutcracker eventually dies.
Yeah, and
it's sad.
the main character and her boyfriend get back together, and I'm just like, why?
They're like, Merry fucking Christmas. Everybody else died around them, but they just...
We're happy.
It's all good.
Our family died, but we're happy. That's all that matters. My daughter died, and my butler / like companion for the last like decade of my life is also dead. But it's fine because we killed the Nutcracker.
We killed the Nutcracker, but we cut back to the Nutcracker guy, the guy in like this antique shop that has the Nutcracker that told the story, but he's got more crystals. Bum, bum, bum.
Patience, Dimitri. We'll get those sweets eventually. It's like, what are you talking about? Why these people?
Although, you know what? I'd watch a sequel. I'm not going to lie.
Make Kelly come back. She's alive somehow. Well, that's the thing, too. Her kill doesn't make any sense because, like, the Nutcracker wraps the garland around her throat, but then, like, on the second pass, it goes, like, into her mouth.
Into her mouth, yeah. So she can't scream, but then he can choke her.
Visual-wise, it's supposed to be, so she can't scream.
Yeah.
Logistically, there's no way that's a taut piece of garland now. And there's just no way that she can get strangled to death based off of the way it looks. And I get it. You don't have any stunt people, and you don't want to actually hurt the actors.
Yeah.
Come on, dog. Like, just Garrett her. Just like use it as a Garrett and just fucking like Garrett her.
Well, and when they were setting it up, they're like, this is going to look really cool when we turn the lights on. Let's frame it.
Oh, yeah.
So she falls down and the lights come on and we have it lit. That's probably their best lit shot in the whole film, too.
It is. But like, what are they plugged into? Like, why is Garland
in the closet
plugged into something? What are we doing?
I don't know. Did the Nutcracker, he's like, hold on, I killed her. Let's plug it in really quick. Where's the plug?
Nutcracker goes, this is cool. This is going to look great on film.
So overall, like, I've never rated this movie. I've marked it multiple times on Letterboxd, but I've never given it a rating because I'm like, I don't know. Because it's a 1-star movie, but it's
100%.
like, this is a movie that I will watch probably every year over and over because it's dumb fun.
Yeah, this isn't a good movie by any stretch of the imagination, but like I'll watch it all the time. Like anytime it's on Tubi and it's like around Christmas time, I'll go watch it.
Unfortunately, they haven't released any physical copy of this.
Oh my God, I
which I'm bummed.
That. Vinegar Syndrome, if ever a time, like this is it, man.
Any of those guys, any of those boutiques, give us one.
Anybody.
We want a fully loaded Nutcracker Massacre disc.
Just give me a Steelbook 4K, man. The icicle is gonna look so real in that guy's fucking jaw.
Comes with a Nutcracker.
Oh, and it has like a switchable head, so you have like the regular head and then like,
and the angry face.
Yeah, we can tell you all the goodies to put in your little things.
Give us a call.
Yeah,
we'll help you out.
You're welcome for this for $1.
You have anything else you want to say about this amazing film?
No. it's one of those things where it's like somebody has an idea, and for probably about 45 minutes, the idea is really, really good. But like the budget's obviously not there.
Yeah.
Because like these people are probably getting like, I don't know, maybe a couple $100 to shoot over the course of a weekend.
I'm sure it's a bunch of friends too.
Yeah, and you got a camera that you're renting from the local video store or whatever. I always appreciate these kind of movies because it's like somebody tried. They really tried. And now Brad and I, for the rest of eternity, get to look at this movie and go, boy, this sucks, but I'm having a great time.
Yes. This movie is terrible. You know what? I'm going to watch it again.
I do that all the time. There's a movie I want you to watch eventually. It's called Alien Private Eye. It's amazing.
That sounds fun.
It's amazing. 80s schlock garbage. It's so good.
Well, there's another movie that came out around the same time called The Killing Tree. That has a killer Christmas tree, and you would think this could be along the same lines of fun. It's not as bad fun as this one because I feel like they take it a little more seriously. May Kelly is also in that one too.
Ooh, okay. When movies take themselves too seriously, or when they're quote unquote in on the joke of like, hey, I know I'm making a bad movie. Let's lean into it. And it's like, this.
But if they lean into it on a good way, like Nutcracker Massacre, they couldn't possibly have thought, hey, we're making a really good movie here.
No, but like there's an earnestness to like, we're trying our best and this is what we were able to do. And it's like, okay, you're not good at this and that's fine. You don't have to be good at this to make it.
Well, yeah, we have limited resources, limited budget, and we're going to do what we can and have fun with it.
Yeah. And then like you have the other side of the pendulum, which is like Velocipaster. And I mean this nicely, like Velocipaster clearly had like a budget behind it, but like not like enough of a budget where you're like, we can do like insane special effects.
Yeah.
It's instead like, oh, my parents are dying in that burning car. And it's like, put burning car VFX right here. Like that kind of shit is hilarious to me.
You'd probably rate it like around a 1 if you were rating the film.
Yes, 100% a 1-star movie. Go watch it.
1-star movie, but a 5-star watch.
Oh, 100%. Watch it with people who also appreciate bad movies.
Yes.
I'm glad I'm not on this part of the film Twitter, but like if I showed this to fucking somebody
could
on
you
like
imagine
awards film Twitter,
I would love
their
it.
heads would explode.
I want to get like some of the stuffiest film Twitter critics, set them in a room and make them watch this movie and just to watch their faces as they anger of like, oh, what is this?
And to go off on a little tangent about this, I despise whenever someone's like, this is the worst movie I've ever seen. And it's like a big budget Hollywood movie. And I'm just like, boy, you have no idea what you're fucking talking about.
You haven't seen bad.
Like you just haven't watched, like you watch like the commercial stuff. And that's fine.
Yeah.
You're allowed to watch it. I watch the commercial stuff.
Yeah.
But like, you just can't be like, these movies are complete garbage. They're awful. They're the worst movies. And it's like, you aren't watching somebody's like art project or somebody's like, I have a camera for a weekend and I have no talent movies. Like you're just not watching those. And like, that's fine, but you can't go around proclaiming, oh, this is the worst movie ever. When like, someone's like, hey, movie 43 is the worst movie of all time. I was like, you sure?
I mean, it is bad, but worst movie with a, $30 million budget. How about that?
Yeah. Like the qualification that somebody has provided is like the worst movie I've ever seen for its budget.
Yeah. I mean, like for instance,
like,
sure. I rage about 65, how much I hate that movie. And it's for that reason. You spent like $150 million and this is what you gave me.
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to be mad at this or like Suburban Sasquatch where it's just like, hey, somebody has a passion for this, but God, they suck at it.
Yeah. Like this budget was like $200, but hey, they had fun.
Oh my God. Speaking of which, have you seen Suburban Sasquatch yet?
No.
Brad, it's so good. It's so bad, but it's so good. I'll give you a little nugget. All right. There are police in the movie. They don't have gun belts. So they walk around with little like wooden pistols, but they're holding it the whole time because they can't put it somewhere because there's no gun belt. So the
Suburban
cops are
Sasquatch.
just always holding their hands like this, like ready, like looking like they're packing, but they're not using the guns. They're just holding them because they have nowhere else to put them. It should be on Tubi. If it's not on Tubi, it's on Amazon.
A movie like that has to be. I'm going to look it up.
Oh, Brad, you got to have me back on for that.
And
I love that movie.
and
It's so bad.
I'm going to tell it if anybody out there listening has seen it, let me know because I want to know what you think of Suburban Sasquatch.
Oh, it's wonderful. Oh, they tried so hard and failed so miserably.
Anything more you want to say about Nutcracker Massacre or bad movies in general?
Or if you want to watch a horrible movie this Christmas season, this is the one.
This is the one. Thank you, Dan, for coming on to chat Nutcracker Massacre with me. And where can everybody find you nowadays?
Yeah, so I don't do Netflix and so anymore. I now just almost exclusively play card games. The Magic the Gathering card game and the One Piece card game. And you can hear my incoherent ramblings about those card games where I tell everyone, hey, this card sucks, stop playing it. At Stacking Triggers, it's a card game podcast I do with my buddy Bill. You can find it at DavidandCamProductions.com. We also have a YouTube page where we used to do gameplay, and then it became way too expensive to do gameplay because no one would watch our videos anyway. So we're currently waiting on a ban list, which has us in a weird spot where we don't know what to talk about because there's a ban list coming up in like 2 weeks, and that's going to completely change the format. So we're looking forward to that and seeing how the meta shapes out after that. And then One Piece, I have a new set coming out, so I can't wait to crack some boxes and hopefully have my entire deck that I want to play for that format, for the next format, ready to go. Sadly, I won't. I wish I would, but I won't.
I'll definitely have you back for Suburban Sasquatch when I see it. And I know we have a big one planned for Amityville Death Toilet that we're going to do later on. 2025, it's going to be an amazing year. But thanks again for coming on, Dan.
Thank you for having me.
Everybody, make sure you subscribe to the show and you'll never miss any episode of Old Man Brad, any Tales from Tubi, any of these great holiday of horror. I have Brett from Dissect That Film coming soon with Christmas Bloody Christmas, Gerald from Two Peas on a Podcast for Black Christmas, and Drew from the Real Feels Podcast to talk a Christmas horror story, so you won't want to miss those.
Of course, you give Gerald the not complete schlock one, because we both know if he watched something like Nutcracker Massacre or anything else, his head would explode.
It would. But I will be back soon. Just snuggle up in that blanket, turn off the lights. It's okay to be scared. We'll talk to you later, everybody.